Welcome back to Founderville. This is episode 111. I'm here with the host today, Scott Millwood and Shay Hauser, and I'm John Sterling. I'm delighted to be here.
John, we're fired up to have you. I don't know how to introduce you other than the prototypical entrepreneur, somebody who loves starting, who loves creating. Yeah. We were just talking about this in your Colby score.
Right.
And now
3393.
3393.
Right.
That means he's actively thinking at all times and creating an ideation. But at this point now you're actually buying software companies. Mm-hmm. You're out there chasing down, I guess, owner-led software companies that have maybe gotten to the point where they want to exit the company. I mean, how's that going? I mean, that's a new venture.
It is new. You know, what happened to me, and this is kind of an entrepreneurial story, but I bought Foxfire Software, 15 years ago after we sold DataStream. And I thought, well, gosh, this is going to be easy. We'll just do what we just did again, right? That's not going to be that hard. Well, it's funny, the earth keeps turning and things change. Yeah. So it's not like, the go-go 90s, when people were buying software.
Can never go back.
Yeah, you can't go back. Yeah. So anyway, it was tough. It was tough to grow it. Once I figured that out, it wasn't that tough to control it and make it profitable and have kind of slower growth. So that happened. And then I would get calls from, private equity companies and bankers and people saying, hey, we want to buy, we love your software, we want to buy the company. And I would say, well, sure, let's talk. And every single time they would end up saying, we like you, we like the company, it's just too small.
Okay.
And so I noticed that under $4 or $5 million in revenue and older software companies kind of got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people. So instead of crying about it, I said, well, why don't I just go buy a bunch more like this, make them profitable, and see if I can, maybe some of them will find some growth potential and grow it. But if not, it's still going to be a profitable company. So we've bought, besides Foxfire, we bought one called Voltrac Software last year, which is a hospital volunteer management product. They've got 144 hospitals using it. And so that was a good pickup. It's a nice little company. And, anyone who's tried to sell to hospitals knows it's not easy to get one hospital.
No doubt.
So I figured
for
not too much money, I'm buying 144. And we're trying to find other things to sell to them. But we're looking for, if anyone's listening, we're looking for under $5 million in revenue, B2B, so business to business, and we want it to be old, not a new whippersnapper with some AI thing. Like it's been around for a while, solid, important, single-use kind of product. And usually the founder owner has been there for a while and wants someone to transition him out.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not dissimilar to the type of companies we look for, where there's in that a niche domain with somebody that understands that domain. They built the product around that.
Right.
It's not this high flying AI. Go boil the ocean type company. It's these niche plays that we really like that we go after.
Okay.
I think the difference there is we're looking for the young starter who's still on the upswing to continue to grow it.
Right.
You're seeking. They've found a little honey hole.
Yeah.
They've got a customer base. Yeah. They've got a maintenance revenue stream, and praise the Lord on the value of maintenance revenue stream because that's a
magic
gift that keeps on giving.
Right.
And can you take that and move it on to the next level and keep it going?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think there are different. I think yours is more of they've already maybe passed the startup and they're starting to emerge a little bit.
We were just talking earlier today. I mean, what we really want is some revenue, scratch the pad, and it's a data stream lesson. Is you don't have a business unless somebody's willing to pay you for the product, right? We want to see that level of traction that somebody's gotten the customer convinced that this is worth something.
Yeah. Before that, who knows?
Who knows?
Well, and we see that all the time though too. I mean, we talk to founders. We like them. They're they seem like they've got what it takes to go build a startup. They're coachable. They're humble.
Yeah.
They got the right attitude, and they've got a great product they've built, but they're not generating revenue yet. It's in test phase. This is in test phase.
Yeah.
But all these customers are going to convert.
Right.
It's like
Right. Yeah.
Okay, why not? If that's the case, like maybe just go ahead and start billing them.
Right.
But it's amazing. There's a disconnect for some of the founders where they don't seem to understand the difference between that pre-revenue and just posting a little bit of revenue with 5 customers.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 15,000 in annualized revenue.
Right.
If you got that with 5 customers that are paying, that are coming back,
Yeah.
the dogs are eating the dog food, that's real.
Yeah.
But until then, it's theory. They think they want that product that bad.
Right. Right. I agree.
So
It's
John, you got
important.
so many things going on. We could spend hours on all the array
Yeah.
of Sterling World. Book still going, great
book.
guns,
Yeah.
and I know that was kind of the precursor, telling all kinds of great stories, but a precursor to Sterling sales.
Yeah.
And that work. Tell us about both of those.
Well, so you and I together, built a great company, DataStream, and I had all these wonderful sales ideas, that we had learned over the time that I would love to get into a book. And I had started to write it, being a quick start, about 10 times, and I had this file, with like going back to I would say early 90s.
Yeah.
I had stuff all the way back then, and so I would pull it out and read it. I'm like, God, you were stupid. It was so bad. But you think at the time you know everything.
Yeah,
At every moment you think you know everything.
Sure.
But anyway, so when the lockdown happened, like most people, I spent the first few days ordering pizza and watching the Tiger King, and then then I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, no, John, do something with your life. And I said, if I'm ever going to write this book, this is the time. We're home.
Yeah.
There's the computer.
Yeah.
Got nothing to do. I mean, I work, but
Yeah.
not all the normal stuff that we
Yeah.
would do. And so that didn't quite work because I can't do it, right? So I finally found this guy who's like an editor, ghostwriter guy to help me, named Joshua. And he was great. He is so good, Joshua Lysick. And all we did was every Thursday, we met for an hour, and I would talk or send him something that I had written down that week. And he would listen, and then he would kind of put it all together, and he sent it back to me, and I would look at it again. And so it just rolled like that for 10 months. So it was just a small enough bite that even I could do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it by myself. So anyway, the book came out, and I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I really
absolutely.
do. I think we have some good stories.
I
in there.
especially like the chapter about me.
Of course,
Yeah.
the
What's your
Millwood.
favorite one?
Chapter 1, Millwood.
Go see your customers and they will buy more.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
That is a good point.
But so what happened was the book came out, and then someone said, I don't know who it was, said, well, you got to do the podcast now. I'm like, what? They go, yeah, you got to do a podcast, support it. And then so we started the podcast, and that was a lot of fun. And then I thought I'd be helping these young salespeople, and I still do that a little bit.
Yeah.
But as business owners started to call, saying, why don't you help me build a team like that? And so I started Sterling Sales to help them. And so I coached their sales team, help them hire, help them with comp plans, all that kind of stuff. Which amazingly, maybe it's not amazing to you since you're seeing it every day, but some of the same basic stuff that we worked on way back when, people still need help with today.
It doesn't change that much.
No comp plan.
Compensation plans.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we've got one right now we're working on.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out, they're introducing channel. There's some direct sales reps. How are they going to sort of pollinate the channel with the direct sales reps? And how are they going to share commissions? And do they share commissions?
So I'll ask you this.
All that type of stuff.
I'll go first if you want me to. But, but let's say, what's the best comp plan you ever saw for a software company?
Eat what you kill.
Okay, so what company would that be, and what was the percentages and stuff?
I mean, really, I would take it back to your comp plan when I came into DataStream of those Citadel guys in the box with nothing to do except make phone calls. Right. And if they made 100 phone calls, they make a lot of money. Yeah. And so high variable.
Right. Low
zero
commission.
to low commission.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work, 3 months and you're out.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that is one of the best the best eat what you kill, simplest models. And I think for my whole career since then, I've always looked at that variable model, and you can almost look at it and go, if I got an enterprise sales rep who's making $150K on base, he's going to suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Right.
for
And if
sure.
you talk to a company and go, well, yeah, we pay our guys because it's like, what's the variable?
Yeah.
2%? Like, that's going to suck.
That's the problem.
right. High variable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
What-
agree with
what
that.
about you, Shay?
No, same thing. I was thinking back to CTG and to Green Cloud, leaving Nuvox to some degree. I mean, high variable based on the total contract value, right? So if they were highly incented to get a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
Most of them would get a 1-year contract, but if
Yeah.
they could get a 2 or 3, they get a nice kicker. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I mean, essentially they could get paid 100% of the annual contract amount. That would be their commission kicker.
Okay.
Right. So we definitely had, I'm thinking through at Green Cloud, I think 3 of the reps would make more than me every year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I definitely wasn't the highest paying guy, even though I was CEO.
Yeah.
There were reps who were making a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine by me.
Ought to be that way.
I remember, to Larry Blackwell's credit, one time, I think it was John Ellison was the first guy to really make like $400,000 or something like that, which was a lot more money than Larry made,
Right.
or us for that matter. And we thought he was going to lose it. We thought he was going to get angry. And he's like, no, let's get everyone doing that.
Do them all, right?
Yeah, 'cause,
well, we did have the Whopper clause at one point. For
We did,
one
but
deal.
we got rid of that. We got rid of that. So
I will say one of the things that was beautiful that I know I took away and have used since then is the idea that you put a comp plan in place and it's only for a certain amount of time.
It's a year.
This might not be the comp plan. Even, I mean, we would change them.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
we would change them. We would change the goal. We would change the comp plan. We'd change the percentage. We'd change the combinations of how people work together. And you're always trying to dial that in to a place where it could be, more explosive, right? And it's constant tinkering to get it right.
Right.
Yeah.
It changed. I mean, we changed it every year. There was a tweak here, a tweak
yeah.
there,
Yeah.
some little movement around based on what was great for the rep, what was good for the company. How do we find this balance to make sure everybody feels like they're winning? But yeah, you're right. It was an annual review of that, and then rolling out the new comp plan and trying to make it to where it wasn't viewed in a negative light. It was just, this is an adjustment that we're all going to have to make.
Yeah.
I've always thought this was my favorite comp plan. Hearing you guys, I might change my mind. But when Nate Barr, one of our reps, ended up working at IBM, his comp plan was, let's just call it a reasonable salary, kind of what you kind of get on the market, and then just a flat 8% of license.
Right.
And I thought, well, at least we're not going to argue about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's pretty simple.
Pretty
Understandable,
simple.
yeah.
And then the funniest thing happened to him is Nate, and again, I love to tell stories about our reps doing so well, but Nate, while he was there, he had an account that he sold like a $13 million contract to Georgia Pacific. And so 8% times 30, you know what that is, right? It's $1 million, right? So he called me immediately. He's like, they're going to screw me.
I know.
What do I do? What do I do?
For sure.
And I'm like, well, they might, but don't freak out about it yet. Just let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I said, call your manager, go meet with him and say, I'm concerned about this. How's this going to work? It's a lot of money. And he really kind of got the runaround for a while.
Oh, man.
And I was like, I said, well, don't freak out. Don't freak out until it happens, right, Shay?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't
just
pre-worry.
hypotheticals. Don't worry about that.
Anticipatory
So
anxiety.
anyway, they're getting close to payment day, and he called me and he told me what happened. He goes, I got a call from corporate. And it was some lady. He goes, I'm with the Special Commissions Department. He's like, here it comes. This is just too much.
Yeah.
And she said, for anyone making over $1 million in commission, we have a special commission department to help make it just as easy as possible for you.
Wow.
She says, we can offer it to you all in cash or in IBM stock or in the IBM venture capital, whatever that group thing is, or any combination.
I'll take green
Jeez.
stamps. I'll take it in green
And I
stamps.
thought IBM doesn't do everything right, but they did that right.
Yeah, for sure.
That is good.
And so I just love that story. But it is true, Charlie Munger, he's famous for saying, show me the comp plan and I'll show you the results.
Uh-huh.
He knows.
he
If you give someone a straight salary and no commission,
Yeah.
they ain't
You know
gonna sell
what's going to
anything.
happen.
No.
They're not going to sell.
but
Yeah.
low salary,
Yeah.
high commission.
Yeah.
The greed will kick in, and the fear of not having enough money will kick in.
Absolutely.
Both.
No doubt,
Absolutely.
no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get 'em
Nothing like it, really. Nothing like
Beautiful.
it.
Get them to
Very,
go buy a
very
nice
pure.
car.
Yeah.
Go get that car lease.
The BMW.
Get the BMW lease.
Yeah. Yeah.
And uncapped, they have to be uncapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
In other words, it's
Yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
automatic.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
no question about it. Just
Yeah.
like the IBM story.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
only place I've ever gotten in trouble with that is I let comp plans linger 1 year. We were in great growth mode, and I let the comp plan linger over from 1 year to the next, and they absolutely just destroyed us. And at the same time, like, all right, I didn't reel it in.
Yeah.
I let it roll.
Was this your
And-
company?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Let it roll, and all of a sudden you're writing these big checks, and then you kind of look at it and go, "It worked."
Yeah,
it
it's
worked.
working.
It's painful, but it is one of
Yeah.
those things. Like it's like complaining about paying too much taxes.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Shut up.
Shut up. Pay your
Shut up.
taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's
How has the podcast, since we're doing this
Yeah.
with you,
Yeah.
how has the podcast changed over time for you as you did your early ones? And
Yeah.
I think I came in and maybe I was in the first
right.
30 or so
Yeah.
that you were kind of going down
Yeah.
your Rolodex. And
Yeah.
I felt fortunate to be part of it. I got
Yeah.
the call from
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
How has it changed over time for you?
Well, I think just like anything else, I've gotten better at it. I'm much more comfortable, kind of being more relaxed, making the other person more relaxed. When I started, Scott, I mean, I had my list, and I would say, "Look, where are you from? Why are you here?" Very, not that bad, but kind of stilted, just working down the list, and now, who knows? We kind of start in one place, but we never know.
Very
where we're going.
Letterman-esque.
Yeah, it's
now.
going to move
Yeah,
all
yeah,
over the place, and
Yeah.
and then, the other thing about it is, like we said earlier, they're not going to be watching the podcast anyway.
Yeah, they're looking
They,
for the
are going to
highlight,
find
right.
the clips here and there, so
Highlight
there's no
reels.
pressure
Yeah.
to have a perfect podcast.
No, because there's going to
Yeah.
be some great just sound bites
Yeah.
that come out of it
Yeah.
just organically. There's how often do you do them?
So what I do is I publish one a week,
Okay.
but I record them all on one day a month.
Okay.
Usually one afternoon, actually. So I
Right.
just go 4 in a row.
Okay.
And it's kind of, people say it make you tired. I'm like, it's kind of energizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do a podcast.
Sure.
So I do them all, and then they have clips for the next month and podcasts, and it's been good. And I told Scott earlier, one of the benefits I didn't expect was some of these people. I mean, Nate Barr's an example. I love Nate Barr, but I hadn't talked to him in a couple of years. But I had him on the podcast, so we got to visit
Get
for
it out.
an
Yeah.
hour.
Catch up. An hour, right.
I don't know who I talked to for an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Nobody.
no.
Yeah.
This is the most conversation that I'll have.
Right.
Particularly when you're asking the probing questions. It's so some of the stuff that we talk about in the format. If there's actually anybody out there watching a full podcast that we do, the pattern is that we typically start with a little bit of like the splash of what's worked, how's it going,
Yeah.
success, right?
Yeah.
We don't even need to do that with you because you're a incomparable success, and then we go back to
Work in progress.
the work. Well, aren't we all? We go back to the nitty gritty, the days where it didn't feel like it was going to go,
Yeah.
and I want to just pull this out for any founders that might
Yeah.
take a few minutes to talk
Yeah.
to listen to us. Those days, I remember coming over to Mills Avenue, and I pull up, and you're in that little house, and you've got the card table, and you got the headset on, and you've got the shoebox filled with index cards, and you were smiling and dialing.
yeah.
I'm like, damn, there's something going on
What
here.
was this, Foxfire?
No, this was Data Stream.
Data
This was
Stream.
early on.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was
okay,
smiling and
okay.
dialing.
Yeah.
So in those days, and when you joined up with Larry, did you ever have those early, holy hell, is this going to work? Is this going to happen? Can I
course.
keep this? Tell us a little bit about that for people who are out there starting businesses that have those days that look like this, John,
Yeah.
that are all over the map.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it this morning, because you guys are Founderville, and we're talking about founding companies, buying companies and stuff. When you start a company or buy a company, it's kind of like kind of like you're buying like a parakeet or something, or a parrot. You're going to live like 30 years,
Yeah.
right? So this isn't just something we're going to like go to a long weekend and do a startup camp. I mean,
Yeah, right.
you're in it for just, you're going to slog away.
yeah.
And, Larry had this thing on the wall. The only thing he had up there was like, keep beating the drum. I mean, that's all he said, keep beating the drum. And we didn't know what we were beating it to or where we were going. There was no target. It was just beat it.
keep going.
Keep beating,
Just go.
And so, those first couple years, it's so hard because you don't have the industry contacts. You don't know what you're doing. You don't have the systems.
Yeah.
You don't have the maintenance contracts. I mean, you don't have any of that stuff. And that's why so many founders end up rich and selling their business when they're 45 or 50 because they learned what they were doing for 8 or 10 years, and then they bought something, spent 20 years building it, and now they're rich.
Right.
And everyone goes, I want to be like him. I'm like, give me 30 years.
30 years.
30
It's yours.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
30 years. So anyway, man, it was pitiful. It was very, very hard, man. It was just very hard. We weren't making any money, hardly any money. And
You were married.
I was married.
Jennifer was in there.
Yep.
Did you have the kids in?
I had one child.
Yeah.
And but fortunately, the place I lived was walkable, and it was a cinder block house. And I think it was like $300 a month. So
Jeez.
Back off of Mills? Back
behind
in there?
it,
Behind there?
way
Yeah.
behind it,
Yeah.
like in the
Okay.
woods.
Yeah.
So kept the expenses low.
Yeah.
But I believed in Larry.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I didn't know what the real vision was. I just figured that guy is probably going to do something or it's going to kill someone.
Bet.
You know, and hopefully not me.
Yeah. It could have been both.
He might have.
Might have.
He might have.
Right.
And then what really helped us, besides the time and getting some of these things checked off, is when we had, because we were just like literally beating the drum, and we had Bill Lee come in after 4 years or 5 years or something and kind of work with us. And he got us to talk about why we were beating the drum, what was the goal, where we're headed to, and what we want to grow per year, what are profits, things like that. And then we all kind of came together around that vision, and that's when it became a lot easier.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. a lot
Goals.
easier.
Just got a
Goal
plan,
setting.
put an actual plan in place.
Yeah.
that everybody could rally
And
around.
it was simple. It was like grow 30% a year and make 10% profits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then so we do that for a year or two. So we get up to maybe 5 or 6 million. And I think I've already made it.
Yeah.
I think
bet.
we're starting to like go to breakfast together and, with Mike and Marty and all these guys talking about what we're doing, VPs of sales. And Larry, we're walking around the building one day, he goes, I said, well, gosh, Larry, aren't you excited? And we just hit 5 million. He goes, we need to do 100 million. And I'm like, what? What? I mean, I almost killed myself to get here.
Yeah.
And, he just set this arbitrary target.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where we got
Exactly
to.
where it is.
crazy.
Right.
And we sold the business.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy.
And we
That
went,
is
Scott
interesting.
went with us. We went down to Kiowa for the retreat to figure out how are we going to do this.
I remember being at that retreat, and there were, I don't know, 10 of us in the room or whatever, and we were out on the beach and we wrote 10 million
Yeah.
in the sand.
Yeah.
Like, that was the goal for that year's revenue was 10 million. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I recall, one of the things that impressed me, and I wanted to work with John. I did. Same with you with Larry. Is like I don't understand what it is, and he's got this founder vision, but I really want to work with John because I thought that you had this charismatic way about you, which you still do and always have, but you always made everybody feel like when you were having a conversation with them that they were the most important person in the room, and I always you could feel it. You called me one time, early days, and I was working in Atlanta, and we had talked about CRM or this, that, and the other. And you're like, let's meet. I got this company up in, where was it? Up Gainesville.
Yes.
Gainesville,
Yes,
Georgia. I've
yes.
got this software company, and they're running like, I don't know, Industry 2000, the newest CRM software. I don't even know what that, probably Telemagic or something like that, right? Let's go up and see them. Yeah, it might have been Goldmine, So we go in, and John's prepared, and we do this whole day, and it was for what I was doing at the time at Harbinger, and what you were doing in parallel at DataStream. it was one of those days where you go, well, that's what we want to be.
Yes.
That's
yes.
what we, and I took that
Yeah.
back to Harbinger and built out CRM,
Yeah.
in whatever crap software we were using. You took that back and did
Yeah.
some. And then later on, we ended up having the same consistent experience building out data stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that was one of those very formative things that you helped me with that I didn't even, till many, many years later,
Yeah.
didn't realize how kind of impactful a single day of,
It's unbelievable.
yeah.
I think about it all the time. So that happened because the ad reps would come by selling us ads, and I was doing marketing at the time, and I would always ask them, "What's the coolest company you've seen in the Southeast?" And very often they're, I don't know. This one guy goes, "You got to go see Lillian in Gainesville."
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we got it. I mean, so anyway, long story short, you walk in there, everyone is exactly what you would want. Fresh face, gung ho, friendly, just good posture, everything.
Yeah.
And always like, how are you? What are you here for? How can we help you? So anyway, at the end of the day, I go to Lillian. Scott and I guess went to Lillian and said, "How do you do it? How do you get all these great people?" And she goes, "That's very simple, John." Like I'm an idiot. She goes, "These are the kind of people that we look for. And when we're about to hire them, we give them one last chance to not take the job because we say, if you change at all, I'm going to have to let you go."
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, that's so beautiful.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
We want you like this.
Like
Just,
this.
just like this. This has
Yeah.
got to be the real you.
Yeah, or out.
Yeah.
And so that company was so good. It was better than anything I think we ever did. And I think if someone tried to infiltrate there and be like a donkey or something,
Yeah.
they would just squeeze them right out.
Squeeze
What
them in.
happened to
Yeah.
that company?
Yeah.
Did y'all
You know-
acquire it?
No, we didn't. They weren't even in the same field. They sold like gas detection meters or something
okay.
like that. But that's the other thing I would say to the Founderville folks is, just like you guys. I mean, we worked hard. We'd get in early. We'd make the calls. We'd return the thing. We would go see the customer problems. Whatever it is. That's just I call that work.
Yeah.
But the progress we made is when we weren't working. We would go to Kiowa.
Right.
We would go
Right.
spend a day with a consultant. We'd think about the business,
Yeah.
the pricing, where we're going. I mean, because Larry and I, for 4 years, we didn't think about it so much.
Yeah.
We just beat the drum, right?
Yeah.
And so I say, more like Naval says, 5% of your time is going to get you all your results.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when you're working
Yeah.
on the
On the
business,
business.
not
On the
in the
business,
business.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. You get so consumed with hammering the nails.
Right.
And it feels so good.
It does. It
Because hammering the nails is simple. You don't have to think about
You
it.
don't have to
But
think
you're right.
about it.
That,
It just ha-
that
it just
little bit of
happens.
5% is you have to lift out of that and
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable.
Right.
It's uncomfortable thinking about
Right.
that, plotting that course.
But
I
that
got to
day-
do that. I got to do that on a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you.
I've got to.
reflection,
You're
right.
probably on a bike or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the time for me to get out and think and try
Right.
to come up with. Wait, what are we even trying to
Right.
achieve here? Like, what is? What,
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I've been hammering the nails.
I
What is-
think
what
you're
is the goal?
particularly good at it. I think you're particularly
Yeah.
good at the strategy of a business.
Yeah.
I think it's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the bigger vision, the bigger picture is what I enjoy.
Yeah.
I definitely don't like my follow through is probably not the best. I've got to force myself to get to the final 10% of a lot of stuff.
Yuck.
I don't think there's not a lot of follow through at this table right now. We have all found our people
Yeah.
Yeah.
who do better follow through than we do.
Yes.
By a long shot.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
When did you start DataStream? That was like 83?
86.
86.
Yeah, 86. And
Okay.
it wasn't a startup.
Right.
But
Y'all,
Larry-
he'd
but he
acquired the business,
He
right?
acquired it from a big company.
Okay.
And it was, $300,000 a year company with
Right.
a couple of some customers. But again, I can't imagine how hard it would have been if it would have been a pure startup.
Yeah.
In fact, to get the business to where it was when he bought it cost him millions of dollars
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
to write the code and
Yeah,
all that stuff they did. So, yeah.
That was the startup phase of that business, and it got it to
Right.
300,000.
Right.
And then Larry saw the opportunity he couldn't pass up.
Yeah.
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 One of the things interesting about this group is we're all Greenville for a long, long time. You
Yeah.
guys grew up here. I moved here from Spartanburg
Yeah,
in,
close
in
enough.
95, whatever it may be. But the Greenville network effect, and our thesis around Founderville of bringing the right bringing the right minds together, bringing the right people together face to face to leverage each other's skill base.
Yeah.
And one of the simple stories there in the startup phase of DataStream is your dad being a VC in probably the same way we are now. In that, it's very locally focused. It's not big investments, but it's things that you think can have an impact. And seeing how that had an influence on Larry. And I ran into your dad I don't even know if I've told you this story. I ran into him at a cocktail function not long ago, and he loves to talk about Larry stories with me. And he told me that at one point Larry was throwing in the towel early days, like it's just too hard, Jack. I can't do it. And your dad said, I'm just I'm terrified that Larry's going to quit and I'm going to lose all my investment. And so I am trying my best to persuade the founder to stay. He's like, Larry, just try it for just a little bit longer. Just stick with it a little bit longer.
Wow.
And of course he did, and it all worked out.
That's amazing.
All in Greenville and pulling you in, and I'm coming in as a was I son-in-law then, or I was gonna be at some point. Like, you're just grabbing every resource you can, right? I mean, working with your dad and his network. You're using every resource available to you and people you know and trust to just get the thing going and bang the drum.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a great story. Before I joined Larry, wasn't that long before that, he was just by himself in a borrowed room. Like some friend of his business. He just had a little office and he was just sitting there, And so when I joined him, he had 4 people.
Okay.
And the first thing I said was, who's in charge of leads? And this poor girl, who was the receptionist, also was supposed to be inputting the leads. And she had them on the trunk of her car. I mean, I said, just give them to me, and that's when I got them in the shoebox and started calling them. And, about every 10th one would buy something. I'm like, I'd like to buy part of this company.
I'm in.
You figured that out pretty quick.
Well, it was back in the day. These people won't understand it. But, I mean, back then the PC had just come out.
Yeah.
So every damn company in the world was buying software to take the place of a bunch of paper.
Right.
I mean, how hard was that? We could understand it.
I understand it. Yeah. I know.
That was so great.
Yeah. It was good stuff.
I think too, what was what was sort of the mindset of risk tolerance at that point?
Oh, there's no limit.
Yeah.
I figure I can stay in your basement if I have to, Shay.
Absolutely.
I'm not worried about it.
I think that's part of that's the magic of the founder, right? I mean, there's, regardless of what stage of the career is, at least in my experience, there's been no hesitation to go, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm going to go do this,
no
and it's going to turn into what it's going to turn into, and people will join. Yeah. People will come along for the ride.
Absolutely. Those first ones, what's fascinating to me at this stage is the continuers, right? We've all continued. We've had good knocks and we've had successes, and plentiful to the point that you're like, all right, enough's enough. Yeah. But we've continued, and I'm curious on you literally exploded with more stuff. Probably 6-7 years ago. Yeah. There was a point where Foxfire was doing good and you were fine, and had the DataStream in the rearview mirror. Yeah. But all of a sudden you started proliferating with a book and consulting and buying companies. And what keeps that? What is that driver, John? What is that motivator?
Well, I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of creative ideas, and nothing fulfills me more than to work on them and get them out there. I mean, this next week I'm publishing a children's coloring book.
I love it.
That's right in the sweet spot of what I see folks on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much for my my kids and my grandkids. But I mean, I found some guy online who does illustrations, and he knows how to. I'm like, okay, and here's their pictures, and this is what you say, and
all you got to do is pay.
I'll send you a copy.
All you got to do is pay.
So I like doing these kinds of things. Right. And
is it part of the creative? I mean, you for those who don't know, John is a master level sax player at this point. Right. I mean, you got the 10,000 hours.
I do have the hours.
Yeah.
Well, I like doing lots of different things, and I believe that as you learn to do one thing, maybe it's a children's coloring book, it might help you with something else. It certainly give you more confidence.
Yeah.
Like if you can do this, then you can certainly do that.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, for a long time, we were beating one drum.
Yeah.
I mean, all day, every day.
One-dimensional.
One-dimensional.
Yeah.
And for a quick start creative person, that's a lot of frustration
Yeah,
because there
yeah.
are a lot of things I wanted to do. So yeah.
Hard to be a Renaissance man when you only got one stick and one
No
drum.
doubt. Yeah. Here's what you're doing all day,
the money go.
every day.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it wasn't like we were sitting in the office
Right.
all the time either. We had some good road trips and different parts of the world.
Oh, yes,
and
you were in
explored a few
Europe.
things.
You were in
all over
Europe
the
for a
place.
year.
We did.
Yeah,
We traveled, got to see a lot of, very, very thankful for that.
I was
Yeah,
just telling the story. We were in Paris not long ago, back 4 weeks ago. And I was telling the story about meeting you and Courtney coming in on the train to Paris. Y'all were coming from Rotterdam. And coming for the big weekend. And I had no idea what I was going to run into. I ran into a frickin' a whirligig is all I can say, because they had been rolling in Rotterdam or Amsterdam, and the train comes in, and I'm thinking, well, hey, we're going to do some tourism. No museums. No museums. Next thing I
Nothing
know,
but fun.
Yeah, I won't even try to describe. I know we were in a jazz club at 3 a.m. and the next thing I remember is looking at a fountain as the sun came up.
God.
It was one of those kind of nights.
Well, I don't know what happened there.
Those are
don't know.
back in the DataStream days.
That's right.
Did you take any time off? Like after you left DataStream, what did you?
So that's a quick little story. But when we sold the company, and Scott will remember, they made it pretty clear that like Alex was going to leave and Larry was going to leave, but they're kind of telling me, we want you to stay. We want you to stay. And I took the CEO around, introduced him to a bunch of customers. And so I was just planning on having like a 2 or 3 year boondoggle, with these people, traveling around, kind of easy job. And then they said they changed their mind or whatever, and they let me go the day after they bought the company, which was fine. They paid a fair severance package, and it was great. But I had no plan. And so what did I do? Go chip some golf balls around 10 in the morning on Tuesday. Have
Fresh
lunch at the
Market.
club, maybe a glass of Merlot,
Swing through Fresh Market, pick up a steak.
Yeah. And I did that for a while, and that wasn't good. I mean, just drinking and doing nothing.
Yeah, not good.
No. You can do that without making money, right?
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, that lasted about 2 or 3 months, and I was getting kind of pasty faced, and it was bad. And so I said, I had that look again in the mirror. I'm like, no, not this.
No more of this.
Wrong direction.
And I decided to buy. I figured I'd buy a software company,
Okay.
and that's when I started looking for a company. I looked at a bunch of them, and finally found Foxfire, which was, believe it or not, over in Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't too far away.
How long did that take?
The process took about 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked at one up in State College, Pennsylvania. They had an energy software package. I can't remember what they were called, but that was a nice little company. But of course, I didn't even know how to look at a software company either. Hardly.
Yeah.
So I've gotten better at that.
Sure.
I love it. Yeah.
We like EBITDA and recurring revenue.
Yeah, man.
That's amen.
Name of the game.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
Recurring revenue and cash flow.
Yeah, probably recurring more than the EBITDA, really.
Yeah, because you can get the
fix,
EBITDA.
You can fix that.
You can get that. You can squeeze that out of it. That's probably some of those companies are probably 25, 30 years old, and the leader's 60, and probably has not really focused on the business a whole lot over the previous years. It's
Right.
gotten comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes money,
Right.
makes whatever money it does.
Right.
But these 2 employees who've been with them for 25 years
I'd say I
may or
I
may
have-
not be,
Right.
I have been amazed. I helped a friend buy a cabinet business. He may not appreciate it anymore. But during that process, I looked at a lot of owner operator businesses, try to get some comparable valuations and what do they do. my God, there is so much out there where people have these situations of things that they've done that are good businesses that they can't get out of. They can't. It's a livelihood.
Yeah.
And we have all been fortunate in that the businesses that we've helped to start and grow have turned into more than a livelihood for just ourselves. But so many of those situations out there where it's just somebody needs to pass off this valuable thing
Yeah.
to someone willing to crank the wrench, put up the gutter, push the mower, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of situations out there. And I imagine I've never really thought about it until you hit on this thing of software operators,
Yeah.
Developers that have come into this thing that they have the same situation and typically have a maintenance revenue stream
Right.
that has, more value than just the guy who's going out and cutting grass or
Right.
doing
No
question
whatever.
about it.
We're actually looking. We got a search now for like a data stream competitor, like an EAM, CMMS
Yeah.
company, because
Yeah.
there's only one Maxima, only one data stream.
Right.
All the rest of them, there's another 80 or 90
Yeah.
that are doing
Yeah.
$2 million a year still, but they have nice recurring
Got it.
revenue.
Yeah. That'd be a great
And
acquisition.
so the owner, instead of like slogging it out,
Yeah.
give him a chunk of cash, and he goes to the lake. You know?
Right. Well, I'm sure you'll find them. You're diligent and persistent,
Yeah.
and
I'm good on the front end, Shaq.
You'll find those deals. I have no
That's
doubt.
right. Yeah.
Good on the front end. You get them closed up though too.
Yeah, we get them closed.
That's a good deal.
Turn them over.
It's a
So,
beautiful thing.
yeah.
Man, it's been great to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I want to come back.
We'd love to have you back.
Do a yearly report.
We can do an annual update. There's no
right.
doubt about it. No, this has been great. I've been on your podcast. Scott's been on your podcast.
Yeah.
Now you've been on ours.
Yeah, man.
We love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and continued good fortune for Founderville.
Thank you.
Love what you're doing for Greenville.
working so far.
We appreciate
Awesome.
it. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, man. Thank you. Founderville.vc podcast. Over and out.